Welcome to Coffee Talk. I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace, and welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast show. Tonight, we dive into sports and play. We will speak from several sources. We will discuss the detriment of sports and play. Hey, this is Coffee Talk Podcast, and I am your host, Mashuma Saba, M. Saba, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast show. How are y'all doing this evening? Peace, and welcome to y'all as y'all start to come on into our show. This is Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast show. And tonight is our Monday night cultural studies night. And as you know, being the original people of the planet, everything comes from us. Our culture is so broad. So we give it to you in bits and pieces, but we definitely give it to you here live with righteousness and positivity. And that's what we bring here at Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast. It's a beautiful night. I thank y'all for tuning in. We got a great show lined up tonight. Tonight, we're going to dive in to what we call sports and play. It's a serious topic about how we get distracted. And also, it's inspired. And it comes from page 246 of The Message to the Black Man by Elijah Muhammad. Tonight, we will be discussing sports and play. Now, for the people that are watching our show, I want you to let me know that you're here by going into the comments. Go ahead and hit the like button. Share. Let us know you're here. Say what's up. How you doing? Peace. Leave a positive greeting. But let us know you're here. And when you're in our comments, I want you to tell me what your thoughts are when you first hear sports and play, and what do you think that all entails as we get ready to discuss that. All right. So if you're new to our show here at Coffee Talk Podcast, we never start the show without giving you the wise words as well as the flavor. And what is the flavor? Well, the flavor is just something of flavor. Something you could be sipping on, drinking on, whatever. So if you're sipping on some wine, a latte, some coffee, some beer, a soda, some juice, a smoothie, whatever it is, just make sure you come on in, kick your feet up, and enjoy yourself here at Coffee Talk Podcast. The wise words. Thank you. The wise words are words of affirmations, words of inspirement, words that are encouraging, words that were left here by our ancestors that are living, as well as those that went on to the essence. So that's how we start our show. We love starting our show, blessing our show with the wise words, as well as the flavor. So tonight, let's jump right into tonight's flavor. Tonight's flavor for us here at Coffee Talk Podcast is a kale and apple smoothie. That's right, it's smoothie night tonight. Why not? The weather is getting warm again, which is cool. We reached about 54 degrees today. Yesterday it was 60 degrees. And if you're anywhere in the Twin Cities, man, that's just a beautiful feeling based off of the winters that we have. You know what I mean? Hey, tell me about it. You know. But a lot of that on both coasts, East Coast and West Coast, when you think about the Twin Cities, when you think about Minnesota, a lot of it's a little bit um, just exaggerated. You know what I mean? Yeah, it does get cold now. Don't let me fool you. But we haven't had many bad winters in quite some time. You know, I mean, it'd get cold for about a good week, 2, 3 weeks, and then it'd be mild. You know what I mean? To our standards, anyway. You know, but tonight we're talking about kale and apple smoothies because we want to get off where we want to come, chill, relax, and enjoy coffee talk. So tonight's flavor is kale and apple smoothies. Why is the question? Because kale and apple smoothies provide antioxidants, it provides vitamin C, it provides vitamin K, and its nutrients support eye support, weight management, and heart health. And so that's why tonight's flavor is kale and apple smoothie combination. Get you some. All right, moving right along, we're going to jump right into what we call our wise words. Now, our wise words comes from a brother that was one time undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. And when he lost that, he came back and was unified heavyweight champion. So this man has always had all of the belts. Recognized as, depending on who you talk to, number one or number two greatest heavyweight boxer ever. Could be argumentative to us boxing fans, but hey, he's still appreciated. This brother was born on June 30th, 1966 from Brooklyn, New York. His nicknames, just several, but his nicknames was AKA Iron Mike Tyson, AKA Dynamite Kid. Tonight, wise words goes out to Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson once said, everybody thinks this is a tough man's sport. This is not a tough man's sport. This is a thinking man's sport. A tough man is going to get hurt real bad in this sport. I'll say it again. Listen closely. Mike Tyson said, everybody thinks this is a tough man's sport. This is not a tough man's sport. This is a thinking man's sport. A tough man is going to get hurt real bad in this sport. These are the wise words of Mike Tyson. All right, so there you have it. You got the flavor, you got the wise words. You're here. Come on in, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that Coffee Talk Podcast is on, and we got a great show in store tonight. Let's go ahead and get into our show. Tonight, we are discussing from page 246 of The Message to the Black Man, a topic called On Sport and Play. Sport and Play. Now, this is 2 pages, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to read all of it, but I encourage you to do so. But I am going to take a paragraph from Sport and Play to point some things out to you, our viewers and our supporters. But I also encourage you to pick up the book and make sure you study it. You know what I mean? All right. So it said here, it says, America, more than any other country, offers our people opportunities to engage in sports and play, which cause delinquency, murder, theft, and other forms of wicked and immoral crimes. This is due to this country's display of filthy temptations in this world of sport and play. Great sums of money are spent in sport and play, in games of chance and gambling. In the operation of sporting houses, millions are spent on horse racing, numbers rackets, and our disgraceful publicity of indecent sport. Hundreds of millions of dollars change hands for the benefits of a few to hurt the millions of poor people in the breadlines and suffering from the lack of good education. With their last few pennies, they help the already helped to try winning with these gambling scientists who have prepared a game of chance that the poor suckers have only one chance out of 900 to win. Therefore, the world of sports is causing tremendous evils. Think over the destruction of homes and families, the disgrace, the shame, the filling up the jails, state and federal, with victims of sport and play. The loss of friendships, the loss of beautiful wives and husbands, the loss of sons and daughters to these penal institutions from dope, knives, and guns. This is an evil practice. Sport and play. All right. So that's sport and play. And I want to go ahead and open up and discuss sports and play to what we are seeing today. And one of the things about sports and play is that, have you ever thought about how you could be friends with people for 10, 20, 30 years, and y'all may fall out over who's the best player, LeBron or Jordan, Kobe or Mike, Ewing or Olajuwon, Shaq or Yao Ming, the Vikings, the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Giants. Roll that dice, get killed at the dice game. You and your friends fall out over side bets. You lose your rent money, your mortgage money, all in the lust of gambling, trying to hit a lick, trying to hit the bag. You might have stole money from your mother, your wife, or someone stole from you or robbed you. All in the lust of sport, all in the lust of going to buy a lottery ticket. That addiction, that adrenaline of trying to win a bag with the sucker mentality that it's an easy bag and there's more chances in that what if I do hit? What if I do hit? We're talking about sports and play. There's a law that went in effect 31 years ago. And this law was called the PASPA Act. What is the PASPA Act? It's an act that means Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act, PASPA, Protection and Amateur Sports Protection Act. It was created actually back in 1992 by then President George H.W. Bush. Or actually, let me back up. George Bush created the PASPA Act to outlaw sports betting nationwide. That's right. George H.W. Bush, president, back in 1992, came up with a law, created an act called the PASPA Act, the Professional Amateur Sports Protection Act, where betting on amateur sports, pro sports, any type of sport event, professional or amateur, was outlawed nationwide. The underlining reason for implementing this law was to prevent corruption in sports competitions, to maintain the integrity of the game, and to curb bribery. While originally written for good intentions, PASPA adapted to changing because of technology, the growth in demand, and the modern views on how sports betting was. This also triggered people to fight back as to why we cannot have betting. I remember these times. Again, this is back in 1992. So in 1992, they had to end it. Yo, no more betting on sports, professional or amateur. Why? Because of some of the same reasons today. The bribery, people getting murdered, people getting robbed, people throwing the game. They was throwing the game in baseball. They was throwing the game in basketball. There was now words that were used to describe when you were doing something like throwing the game, such as a term called point shaving. Point shaving is often used in basketball. What is point shaving? Allow me to give you an example. Let's say one of your top players that you know that can do 100 layups in his sleep without missing gets a wide lane to the basket to make a layup, and he misses. And he misses so bad it looks intentionally. This guy could be averaging 20, 30, 40 points, be the man on the team. But all of a sudden he goes for a bad night and he only makes one shot. So he goes 1 for 29, meaning he made one basket, missed 29 others. But you and I both know how great he is, and he would at least made half of his baskets. He would at least made 3/4 of his baskets. That was what we called point shaving. Then historically, you could talk about guys that came up missing because they was placing bets in baseball, football, committees cheating, boxers, boxing judges cheating through sport and play. Oftentimes, black families falling out with one another because of sport and play. Because of sport and play, you'll be down at the juke joint. You'll be down at a bar. You'll be somewhere out partying and bullshitting. Partying and bullshitting. Rapping, dancing, shaking your ass, but not paying attention to what's going on today. This is what we call sport and play. What are some of the cons of sports and play as it was enacted? Well, some of the cons that others used to get the Supreme Court back in 2018 to fight against RASPA was that they felt that it blocked state control. It created uneven rules. It failed to stop illegal markets from still making that money. An example, before you had these betting apps, you'd have to bet overseas. The islands had casinos. Or there was only one state that was prohibited to allow betting, gambling, and that was Nevada. New Jersey also was one of them, but they didn't come on to the tail end. But it was Nevada. Nevada was one of the reasons why people started to go to the Supreme Court and demand that, hey, why does Nevada only allow gambling, but no other states can? Nevada's making billions of dollars a year. That money would be good towards other states. This was the mind state at that time. So in 2018, the U.S. Supreme Court issued what they call the Murphy ruling that RASPA was unconstitutional. This opened the floodgates to legalize sports betting throughout the United States. And it brings in billions. But my question is, do we see it? Some of you may argue and say, yeah, we got sports athletes that's making millions. But in this day and time, do you see any reflection of that? Do your community see any reflection of that? Here in the United States, we don't own anything. No schools, really. No hospitals. No grocery stores. Now, if you say, well, my cousin owned a restaurant. My cousin owned a small-time mom and pop's grocery store. Typically, that's like 1 in 100. We don't own anything. No shipping yards. But we continue to get caught up in what we call sport and play. I want to go outside and play, girl. Let's get dressed up, girl. Let's go spend $300, $400, $500 just to go buy some hair, some nails, some eyelashes, an outfit, and then go out to the clubs and sit around and allow men to buy you drinks. But when you come home, you realize your kid needed $10 to take to school to go on a field trip. Or your child needed $25 because he wanted to buy a yearbook to remember this year's education, his classmates. Sport and play. When I thought about this topic on sports and play, it took me back to a time back in 1989 when I can recall this brother, and I'll leave names out, but I do want to say peace to his family. His brother is no longer here anymore. But they used to play this game on the back of the city bus back when the buses were red. And it was called 3-card Molly. Matter of fact, that was the nickname we called this brother, this particular brother. Peace to him. But 3-card Molly would play the 3-card Molly game right in the hood, right on the buses, right on every corner. Because that was his hustle to feed his family. I can't knock nobody's hustle, but was that right? Well, moral of the story is one day 3-card Molly was playing with somebody that wasn't playing. He felt 3-card Molly tricked him out of his money. And it became violent. This is what we talk about when we talk about sport and play. Too many times we want to stab each other in the back over sport and play. Look at the situation with Colin Kaepernick some years back. When Colin Kaepernick took a knee for all of the injustices that was going on in the country at that time. The killing of Mike Brown, Philando, a lot of people we could name. And you had a brother, and I won't say his name, but you had a brother that was an entertainer that was allowed to come and be the chief director, producer of the halftime shows and Super Bowls. And what that did at that particular time is it uncut Kaepernick and what Kaepernick was fighting for. He was a great quarterback that was using his stage to point out the injustices. Now, some will say, well, he shouldn't have used his stage. He was getting paid to play football. Why didn't he play football? Yet we went on to learn that football league, that particular football league, had contracts with the armies and all those other military services that we have in this country. And we all know what that's about. Are we really proud of what's going on in our nation right now? Are we really proud of going overseas and having war and innocent people getting hurt? Sport and play. Sport and play to the point where we can't even talk to each other about real things. We'd rather ignore real conversations but glorify ignorance or play. Man, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear about what's going on in our communities. But did you see LeBron and them? They gonna win the Super. They gonna win the NBA championship. LeBron's old. Luka's this. Ant-Man's that. Wemby's this. And we're not focused on our families, on obtaining knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, culture, freedom, power, and refinement. We're not there. We're not there. And in the times that we are living in, are we ever going to be there? Sport and play. When you talk to people nowadays and you talk about their children, you never hear them talk about, oh, I want my kid to be a designer. I want my son or my daughter to go to law school, to become a doctor, to become a plumber, to become an architect. To become a carpenter. We actually belittle those that want to go to school, and we appreciate, love, and applaud brothers in jail, brothers coming home from jail. We are divided, and all we think about is sport and play, and we'll be ready to kill for it. What's your thoughts on sports and play tonight? Also, what is your thoughts on the opener as we read parts of the paragraph from Sports and Play, page 246, the message to the black man? I encourage you to really read that. I left out a little bit, you know. I left out a little bit. But I wanted you to realize the impact of what sport and play is. So I believe that I had to take a little bit of that to speak the language to the babies today. So I definitely encourage you to read those 2 pages, 246 and 247. Have you ever known somebody that died or unalived them, or had got unalived over sports? Leave that in the comments and let us know what that was about. Could it have been prevented? What's your thoughts on sports and play? Well, that's all we have for tonight. We're at Coffee Talk Podcast. Another great show. Another great cultural studies show. And as we continue this month, we're going to get deeper and deeper and pull out some other things. But before we go, I just like to say I thank you. Big shout out to OD, my brother OD that tunes in and checks us out, supports the show. We really appreciate you, brother. Big shout out to you. Happy birthday, King. You know, from Coffee Talk Podcast and the family. But I would like to just say thank you to all of y'all that support our show. Our show is a cultural variety podcast show. So when you first tune in, you might still be caught up in the matrix. You might still have the negative frequency around you that you're not realizing you're coming to a positive show. A show that's not going to bring you no negative news, even though there may be negative things going on around us. We're not going to share that because we see that so much in our news anyway, in their news. Nah, we are the new news. So anytime you see Coffee Talk Podcast, we're bringing you something positive, such as the wise words that are from our ancestors living and those that went on to the essence. We bring you the flavor. Because whatever you're drinking on, we want to make sure that we telling you about the benefits of that particular flavor. And we also want to make sure that we are paying homage to our doctors, our lawyers, our scholars, our poets, our authors, our athletes. So yes, you can catch us, Coffee Talk Podcast, the Cultural Variety Podcast Show, 3 times a week. Alternate Sunday, Monday nights is what we call Cultural Studies Night. Wednesday nights is our sports night. And nah, we don't care about who won or lost. We're not those other shows. Our sports, we like to talk about the different intricacies that's going on in the world of sports when it comes to our people. And Friday and Saturday is just like a club night. It's just like a lounge night where you can come here and we can check us out unscripted, have good fun, humor, laughter, whatever you want. 10-question Q&A, 5-question Q&A. But we love to bring you a good time on Friday and Saturday if you're not going out and you're at home. So make sure you stop in at Coffee Talk Podcast and bring whatever you want to bring. That's the flavor. Bring whatever you want to drink. That's the flavor. And you got me too. You know what I'm talking about. So thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast. I'm going to hit you up with the universal peace sign. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see y'all Wednesday for Wednesday night sports coverage. Talk to you soon. Peace.